Thanks. A first alert update. Wisconsin Lieutenant Governor and Democratic candidate for governor Sara Rodriguez says she has fired her campaign manager over mismanaged money and bad reporting. The move was announced late Sunday, and today Rodriguez facing reporters saying she acted as soon as she realized there were serious mismanagement and inaccuracies in her campaign finance filings.
We are in contact with the Wisconsin Ethics Commission to ensure the inaccuracies are corrected. Let me be clear. I am hurt, angry, and deeply disappointed by someone I trusted to run my campaign. This was not just a breach of my trust, but the trust of our volunteers, our supporters, and the voters who deserve better.
Rodriguez says an initial review found her manager double-counted contributions and failed to report some expenses, inflating how much cash the campaign appeared to have. She adds they are hiring accountants and compliance experts and will file amended reports.